OPEC is hosting its annual seminar in Vienna just days after OPEC Plus announced a bigger than expected hike in production for August. Brian Sullivan is in Vienna, Austria, covering the event. We'll always have Vienna, Brian, as you know. I always say that to you. What's going on?
Yeah, 7 years ago, Joe, that you and I and our families got together and had a cocktail here, and a little bit different. The world has dramatically changed. Some ways the same, some ways different. By the way, you just talked about deals. The CEOs of both BP and Shell, which of course were recently rumored to be involved in a deal, I kind of dispelled that on the air. They're both here, so that should get tongues a-wagging. Kind of amazing that OPEC members of 8, the Plus group, if you will, raised oil output, and yet the price of oil has gone up in the last 2 weeks. We're at 2-week highs. Still lower than we were, but at 2-week highs. I think the interesting story about this seminar is not who's here in as much as who's not here. Well, so who is here? Well, of course, you've got most of the OPEC and OPEC Plus member nations, kind of the Oscars of oil, if you will. Saudi energy minister, the UAE, others coming in on that red carpet here earlier today. But who's not here as well? Iran. They are not here in person. Makes it interesting because they are the rotating president of OPEC, but they are not here. They did send a video message. They didn't mention the U.S., by the way, by name on that message, but pretty strong words from Iran, basically saying war is not good for markets. They're not here. There are some members of a Russian delegation here, but the Russian energy minister is not here. The other really interesting point so far, day one of 2, is, Joe, is that there's a lot of talk about the energy transition. OPEC stands for Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Yet in their talk, the Saudi energy minister, Abdulaziz bin Salman, was talking up the energy transition, a nation, by the way, that has spent billions of dollars on hydrogen and solar. It's interesting because just yesterday, President Donald Trump was talking about how the U.S. is going to boost fossil fuel production. Listen.
We're setting records now on energy, and there'll be nothing compared to what they'll be in about a year from now.
So we're talking oil and gas, the U.S. They're talking about wind and hydrogen more here. Things are a little bit backwards. By the way, there is some non-OPEC related energy news today. Venture Global, publicly traded VG, making a deal with Germany. They will now be the largest exporter. The U.S. will be the largest exporter of liquefied natural gas to Germany on the back of that deal. And by the way, speaking of shipping fuels, keep in mind we've had 2 attacks by Houthi rebels on ships, not in the Persian Gulf, not in the Strait of Hormuz, but in the Red Sea. One of those ships did get sunk and people were killed. So attacks on ships are heating up, just maybe not where many people thought they might be. A lot of geopolitical intrigue, as always, here in Vienna, Austria, Joe.